Imagine this. You're standing in a crowded room, and without saying a word, you notice people adjust themselves around you. A woman glances over, then quickly looks away. A guy talks louder when you step closer, as if he suddenly needs to prove something. Your phone buzzes with a message from someone who used to take hours to reply, and now she's the one following up. You didn't change your jawline overnight. You didn't become 6 inches taller. What changed is something most men overlook: your center. The silent signal that you are not chasing, negotiating, or performing for approval. That signal is the foundation of real attractiveness. And yes, some women will test it, some friends will resent it, and your old habits will try to drag you back. But once you lock it in, the game bends toward you. The emotional trap is simple. When you like her, you give too much too soon. You explain yourself. You accept vague plans. You say yes because you fear the door might close. She feels your need, not your interest, your need. That flips the polarity. She withdraws, not always to be cruel, sometimes just to see if there's any spine behind your smiles. You interpret her hesitation as a puzzle to solve, and you work harder. She reads that as pressure and pulls further away. This is how men talk themselves out of attraction, by trying to talk their way into it. Your first shift is to stop being a salesman and become a standard. The first sign you're a highly attractive man is that your center doesn't move. You can like her, want her, feel the pull, and still hold your ground. When she delays the reply, you don't chase the silence with paragraphs. When she says maybe, you don't audition for the role of her weekend plan. When she gets moody, you don't scramble to fix feelings that aren't yours. Your calm doesn't come from pretending not to care. It comes from knowing your attention is valuable and your life is already full. This is not coldness, it's containment, and it's magnetic. Here's how that looks in the field. When she gives you a low-effort invitation, "We should hang sometime," you convert it or kill it. "I'm free Thursday at 7. Pick a place near X. If that doesn't work, let's try next week." If she wobbles, you don't sell. You release, "No worries, another time." Then you actually move on. The tactic is simple. One clear offer, one follow-up max, then silence. The rule underneath the tactic is sacred. You don't teach people to disrespect your time by rewarding uncertainty. Your certainty is the frame. Her interest will either meet it or expose itself. When she uses withdrawal as control, suddenly colder after a great date, the untrained man explains, overtexts, and bleeds energy. You do the opposite. You scale back to her level or slightly below, and you keep your rhythm. If she resurfaces with a test, you seem distant, you don't defend. You label and lead. "I match energy. I like clarity." Then you move forward with a concrete plan, or you move on. Your power isn't in being colder. It's in being indifferent to outcomes that don't serve you. Watch what happens when you stop performing. Some women will get louder, flirtier, even more playful. They feel the gravity and want to be pulled in. Others will push against you, tease, delay, create tiny storms to see if you'll collapse. That's not always manipulation. Often it's just attraction trying to find structure. Your job is to provide it. You handle the logistics, you set the tone, and you refuse to argue. If a conversation starts circling, you end it clean. "Let's talk later." If texting gets dry, you stop pouring water on a dead plant. You don't punish, you don't chase, you pivot. The internal cost of not being centered is bigger than rejection. It's self-betrayal. Every time you over-explain, over-invest, or over-pursue, you train your nervous system to need her reactions to feel okay. That dependency rots your instincts. You miss red flags because you're busy earning what should be given freely. You accept crumbs because you fear the table might disappear. The shift in awareness begins when you notice the urge to fix and choose to breathe instead. 2 deep breaths, shoulders down, phone away. Ask yourself, if I had 10 women texting me, would I respond to this message? If I were living the life I respect, would I make time for this uncertainty? You already know the answer. Here's a micro protocol to anchor your center today. Before any reply, pause for 60 seconds. Read her message once. Strip it down to what's actually there, not what you hope is there. If it's vague, make it specific with one line and one plan. If it's specific, confirm and move on with your day. If it's disrespectful, disengage without heat. When your emotions spike, drop the conversation and move your body. Push-ups, a walk, cold water, anything that tells your limbic system you're safe without her approval. Then re-engage only if the situation deserves your presence. That discipline communicates more attraction than any clever line could. You will notice a new pattern in how people respond to you. Invitations become clearer. Teasing becomes playful instead of hostile. Tests get shorter because you don't feed them. The room shifts when you enter because you're not there to be chosen. You're there to decide. And the women who are actually ready feel safer around you because your steadiness means they don't have to manage your emotions. The right ones lean in. The wrong ones fall away. Both outcomes are wins. Have you ever caught yourself over-explaining to a woman who was giving you almost nothing? What did you say, and how did it land? When someone pulled back on you recently, did you chase or match energy? And what happened next? What part of holding your center is hardest for you right now? The pause, the boundary, or the walk away? You'll know you're leveling up when you stop trying to be impressive and start being selective. That's the second sign. You qualify. Most men pray to be chosen. You invert it. You're not scanning for perfection. You're watching for reciprocity, warmth, effort, alignment. When a woman gives you surface-level charm but no consistency, you don't fill in the missing pieces with fantasy. You test. You create small moments where her intentions have to show. I'm grabbing coffee near Nguyen Trai at 5. Join if you want. You're not dragging anyone. You're opening a door and seeing who walks through. When she does, you appreciate it. When she doesn't, you don't punish. Your life is already in motion. Qualifying removes the need to decode mixed signals because you design interactions that demand clarity. Here's how qualification looks in practice. Early texting stays light and purposeful. You don't debate ideologies at midnight with someone you haven't met. You propose a plan with a time and a place. If she counters with genuine constraints and offers options, she passes the first filter. If she replies with sparkles and zero logistics, you keep it playful, but you don't carry the conversation on your back. You let silence do its job. On the date, you ask questions that reveal character, not just aesthetics. What are you building this year that's hard? When was the last time you told someone no? You're not interrogating. You're listening for a correlation between her words and her life. If the vibe is great but she can't respect time, you clock it. If she's sweet but gossips like it's oxygen, you clock it. Attraction doesn't overrule standards. It sharpens them. The third sign, you lead with ease. Leadership in dating isn't domination. It's pacing the experience with a steady hand. You suggest concrete plans, not vague ideas. You choose venues that support a good conversation. Quiet bar, coffee shop with real chairs, a short walk to a second spot. You time-box the first date to 90 minutes because you protect your energy and leave on a high note. You don't sit there trying to earn a second date. You create an arc. You arrive on time, you guide transitions. Let's take a short walk. You pay attention to her comfort, and you end the night clean. Good seeing you. Text me when you get home. If the chemistry is mutual, escalation is natural. If it's not, you don't push, you pivot. Ease is the opposite of need. You're not trying to extract validation. You're offering a frame that makes both of you feel safe and alive. Test will come, and your leadership handles them without theatrics. She flakes last minute with a thin excuse. The untrained man negotiates and begs. You do the opposite. No problem, let's try another time. Then you don't reschedule twice. If she's serious, she'll propose a new plan. If she doesn't, you never chase the ghost. She gets moody over nothing. You don't analyze 20 screenshots with your boys, you refuse the chaos. Seems like today's heavy. Let's talk when it's lighter. You're not her therapist or her trampoline. Your calm is the boundary. Your follow-through is the lesson. If she tries the attention treadmill, rapid-fire texts when she's bored, silence when you lead, you implement the energy mirror. You match cadence, not attitude. If she sends a one-word reply, you don't write a novel. If she disappears for days and returns with flirty emojis, you don't reward absence with presence. You set a simple rule. Attention follows effort. When effort rises, so does yours. When it drops, yours does too. There is no speech about it. Your behavior teaches it. And when a woman is actually into you, she loves this. She knows where she stands. She feels your steadiness and can relax into her own. Let's make it tactical enough to use today. Adopt the one-in-one policy. You make one clear plan and one clean follow-up. If logistics don't land after that, archive the thread and move your body or your business forward. Use a two-option close to lead while respecting agency. Wednesday 7 or Saturday 5? Both work for you. She gets to choose. Confirm morning of with a single line. If she's foggy, replace the plan. No stress. I'll use tonight for training. We can reconnect next week. That line is gold because it's truthful. You reclaim the slot. No sulking, no sarcasm. Your schedule is a statement of who you are. When she uses withdrawal as control, after intimacy or after a great day, you don't spike into protest or plunge into despair. You shrink the window of access without hostility. Fewer good mornings, no late-night counseling, more focus on your craft, training, and tribe. If she notices and asks, you tell the truth without venom. I match investment. I like consistency. Then you lead with a simple next step, or you let it rest. If she tries to bait you into a fight, you don't spar and text. You set the venue, happy to talk, not to argue. Coffee tomorrow or nothing. You insist on environments that favor clarity and connection. If that sounds strict, good. Attractive men pick the court where they perform best. And yes, sometimes she will be genuinely overwhelmed, scared, or testing because she's been hurt. You don't diagnose her. You evaluate the behavior in front of you. Is there effort? Is there respect? Is there a pattern of repair when mistakes happen? Attractive men don't need perfect women. They need reciprocal women. You're not building a case to win her. You're gathering data to decide if she fits your life. So ask yourself, when was the last time you qualified a woman instead of campaigning for her? What's your exact rule for rescheduling, and have you broken it because you were afraid to lose the chance? If a woman pulled the hot and cold routine on you this month, how did your behavior teach her to continue or to stop? The fourth sign shows up when your life has gravity. Not swagger, not quotes on your story, gravity. You have a mission that eats time, demands focus, and shapes your schedule. Your phone isn't your heartbeat, your calendar is. Women feel that difference instantly. A man without gravity is always available, always replying, always down for whatever. A man with gravity respects time like oxygen. He sets windows for texting and doesn't drag conversations past their natural life. He trains, he builds, he sleeps. Desire grows around him because he's orbiting something bigger than approval. This isn't a performance. It's a life that would keep moving if every woman vanished tomorrow. Here's how gravity plays out in small moments. You cap chatty back and forth during work blocks with a clean, warm close. Jumping back to it, let's plan later. You don't sneak into your phone every 6 minutes because your attention isn't a leaking faucet. When a date conflicts with your training or your deadline, you don't collapse your standards to keep her interested. You offer 2 alternatives that respect your pace. If she can't do those, you don't argue with reality. You accept it and move. Gravity eliminates the desperate flexibility that tells a woman you're available for chaos. She stops testing your time because she sees how you protect it. This is where some men sabotage themselves. They call passion work online, but they don't produce. They talk about mission to sound masculine, while their days look like scrolling, lifting once, and blue-ticking strangers. That's cosplay. Real gravity produces artifacts, projects, PRs, income, community, creative outputs. It shows up in your body language because progress quiets insecurity. Intrusive thoughts shrink when your actions are loud. You don't need to tell her you're serious. She experiences it when you stand up to leave on time and keep your word to yourself. You aren't rigid, you're reliable. That reliability is sexy because it's rare. When a woman tries to pull you into drama while you're protecting your rhythm, you don't moralize. You reroute. I'm in the middle of something. Let's talk at 8. If she escalates to guilt or sarcasm, you don't cure it with attention. You give her space to return to calm and you keep building. If she respects the boundary, you make room. If she doesn't, you reduce access. Not to punish her, but to maintain the conditions under which you perform well. Attraction should accelerate your life, not stall it. If it keeps stalling, you're the brakes, not the engine. A tactical framework for gravity is the rule of 3: purpose, people, performance. Purpose gets a protected block daily, non-negotiable. People, your tribe, get consistent time every week, real conversations, laughter, sweat, projects. Performance gets tracked, the numbers you care about in your body, your craft, your money. You review those numbers weekly, alone, without noise. When texting or dating threatens any of those pillars, you don't balance by stretching your day thinner. You cut something. You choose the cut that keeps your center. This is how men become rare, by refusing death by 1,000 ambivalent invitations. Now the fifth sign emerges. Emotional control under pressure. Not numbness. Command. You can feel attraction, jealousy, disappointment, and still act in alignment with your standards. When she becomes ambiguous after intimacy, the average man spirals, chases, or argues with pixels. You don't. You regulate first, communicate second, decide third. Regulation is physical before it's psychological. Cold water, hard set, long walk, deep breathing, something that burns the panic out of your bloodstream. Then you read the situation without fantasy. Has effort dropped? Has respect slipped? Is this a one-off or a pattern? Only after that do you send a single clear message or choose silence. Emotional control means you don't confess feelings to force closeness. You don't threaten to leave to create urgency. You don't make speeches no one asked for. You state what you want in a line. I like consistency and plans. You offer a path forward. Friday 7. If the path is taken, great. If not, you exit clean. The cost of control is short-term discomfort. The reward is long-term self-respect. And women who are truly ready will not run from your calm. They will relax into it. Your steadiness gives her something to trust when her own emotions are noisy. Weaponized silence is a favorite test. She pulls back to see if you'll perform. Your move is elegant. You match cadence and reduce emotional intimacy to the level of demonstrated commitment. Fewer emojis, shorter replies, no late-night therapy. If she re-engages with warmth and effort, you meet her there. If she lingers in half-interest, you taper off. You never teach someone that you'll keep providing connection without connection being returned. This is not a game, it's ecology. You're protecting the ecosystem where desire can breathe. Make this practical right now. Install a 24-hour rule for decisions when you're triggered. You don't send long texts, you don't block, you don't book last-minute flights to prove you care. You delay. If you must reply, do it with a placeholder. On a call most of today. Let's touch base tomorrow. That line buys you time to regain clarity. Pair it with a personal non-negotiable. Sleep before speech. Most dating disasters happen between midnight and 2 a.m. when your brain is cooked and your pride is hungry. The man who waits owns the frame. Be honest. Where does your life still leak attention? And how would your days change if you guarded 3 non-negotiables? When tension hits, what's your first quick regulation move, and how often do you actually use it? Have you ever rewarded weaponized silence with pursuit? What did that teach her about you? Here's where most men blow it after they start embodying these 5 signs. They begin to perform attractiveness instead of live it. They try to act unbothered, but their phone reveals the truth. Double texts, late-night scrolls, checking who watched their story, crafting replies like a politician drafting a speech. That performance leaks. Women read micro-signals better than you think. The half-second pause before you reply, the tiny shift in tone when she mentions another guy, the way you suddenly become available when she dangles attention. The emotional trap returns in a subtler form. You're steadier, yes, but now you're addicted to the image of being steady. The fix is ruthless honesty. Cut anything that converts your attention into anxiety. Mute her stories. Turn off read receipts. Delete drafting apps. Attractive men remove the gadgets of obsession because their nervous system isn't a toy. Let's talk about the games you will face once your gravity shows. Breadcrumbing. She pings you with dopamine sprinkles. Miss this. 3 emojis, a song link, without logistics. Your move. Convert or cut. Let's catch up. Thursday 8th at District 1 rooftop. If she dodges, smile and disappear. Triangulation. She brings up a guy who won't leave her alone. A coworker who's so extra, or an ex who just resurfaced. Don't compete in phantom tournaments. You respond with amused indifference. Sounds messy. I'm allergic to mess. Then steer back to your plan. Intermittent reinforcement. Hot for 2 days, cold for 5. You don't chase the heat or mourn the cold. You match average behavior, not spikes. This teaches stability without lectures. When withdrawal appears as control, less affection after intimacy, shorter replies after a deep night, you do not bleed into essays. You establish a simple exchange rate. Intimacy earns presence, absence earns space. You are allowed to want her. You are not allowed to subsidize ambiguity. If she confronts your pullback with, "Why are you distant?" you answer with clarity, not accusation. "I feel best with consistent energy. Happy to plan Friday, or we can slow this down." Give 2 options that protect your dignity. If she tries to escalate into a fight over text, you shut the arena. Not by text, coffee or call tomorrow, otherwise let's pause. The man who picks the venue controls the tone. Here's a field-tested discipline that will save you months: the 3-strike reschedule. Strike 1. She flakes with a reason. You accept once and offer 2 alternatives. Strike 2. She goes foggy again. You release with grace. Let's reconnect when your schedule opens. No sarcasm, no edge. She knows the door's not locked, but it's not revolving. Strike 3. If she returns later with the same pattern, you decline entirely. I'm on a tight season. Let's skip. You're not punishing. You're protecting your ecosystem. Women who are ready will respect it. Women who are addicted to chaos will hate it. Either way, you win because your time stays clean. Now, internal cost. Every time you break your own rules, texting after midnight, arguing with screenshots, showing up late to your training because her vibe was off, you don't just lose an hour, you lose trust in yourself. Quiet self-contempt is the virus that kills attraction faster than any external test. The cure is micro-repairs. You don't need a monastery. You need 3 wins before noon. Sweat, focus, output. A hard set, a protected deep work sprint, a small tangible result you can point to. Stack enough mornings like that and your evenings stop begging for validation. You'll notice you read her messages with a slower pulse because your day already fed you. Let's weapon-proof your heart without numbing it. Adopt the 70-30 posture. You lead 70% of logistics, she initiates 30%. If she never initiates, interest is counterfeit. When she does initiate, you reward it with warmth and speed. This creates a loop where effort begets effort. Keep an investment ledger. Mental, not literal. Did she plan something? Did she bring something? Did she repair after a mistake? Did she introduce you to her world? Ledger thinking keeps you from chasing potential and ignores sob stories. You're not cruel, you're clear. Behavior is currency. Social proof can tempt you into peacocking once women respond to your steadiness. Resist. Real men let social proof be discovered, not projected. You don't announce options. You live in a way that implies them. You don't post thirst traps for attention, you post progress for yourself. If she pushes for competition, so how many girls are you seeing? You don't brag or confess. You stay adult. I'm getting to know people and I protect pace. I don't do rush or chaos. That answer signals abundance without theater. And yes, you will have moments where you care more than she does. That's not a failure. That's data collection. You don't double down. You downshift. Reduce access, keep respect, move your feet. The man who can walk away with an open heart is the rarest man in the room. Detachment isn't frost. It's faith that life will refill what you release. When she feels that, not a threat, not a sulk, but a grounded willingness to continue with or without her, attraction either deepens sustainably or ends quickly. Both are mercy. Tell me, where are you still performing steadiness instead of living it? Which game? Breadcrumbing, triangulation, intermittent reinforcement hooks you the hardest, and how will you counter it this week? If you applied the 3-strike reschedule starting today, who would lose access and what would that free up for you? There's one more layer you have to master if you want these 5 signs to hold under real pressure. Detachment that doesn't look like punishment. Most men either cling or cut off. The first bleeds respect. The second burns bridges you didn't need to burn. True detachment is surgical. You remove what's inflamed and preserve what's healthy. That means you stop rewarding inconsistency without declaring war. You keep your tone warm and your boundaries strict. You do not explain your standards, you demonstrate them, and you demonstrate them the same way on good days and bad. Consistency is how attraction stabilizes. It's also how the wrong people disqualify themselves without drama. If she withholds affection to steer you, you don't chase or retaliate. You reduce access to the level of demonstrated care. You do not announce the reduction, you live it. Your texts are shorter, your availability tighter, your investment focused on people who reciprocate. If she leans back in with effort, you meet her there. If she leans back in with more tests, you step aside. You never fix what someone is choosing to break. Your power is in refusing to trade your sanity for attention. That trade is how weak men become useful to chaos. You're done auditioning for turbulence. The cleanest tactic I can give you for emotional war zones is the 2-lane rule. There are only 2 lanes with you: clarity and space. Clarity looks like dates on calendars, honest check-ins, and repair after inevitable human mistakes. Space is silence without hostility. There is no third lane for arguments that circle, sarcasm that stings, or threats that bait. When a conversation leaves the clarity lane, you offer space immediately. Let's pause. I'm not doing this tone. Not a punishment. An environment reset. Space lets the nervous system de-escalate. If she values the connection, she returns to clarity. If she values chaos, she stays in noise. Either way, you have your answer without playing therapist or tyrant. Detachment also means letting outcomes reveal reality faster. You stop tinkering with her motivation. You stop staging grand gestures to force intimacy. You don't write novels to diagnose why she's distant. You put time on the clock and let behavior talk. 48 hours after a wobble, has she either initiated repair or accepted your plan? In a week, has she matched even 30% of the leadership? In 2 weeks, has the connection deepened in honesty and logistics, not just intensity? If the answer is no 3 times, you stop negotiation and you stop narrative. You exit like a gentleman, short, kind, final. We're not aligned in pace. Wishing you the best. Then you do the hardest part. You don't reopen the door. Not on lonely nights, not when the playlist hits, not when she posts a memory designed to reel you back. Memory is not a mandate. When the heart aches, and it will, you don't self-medicate with bodies or boast about options. You return to your ritual. Sweat, focus, output. You tell the truth to your tribe without victim theater. You study the tape. Where did you overinvest? Where did you ignore early signals? Where did you break your own rule of 3 or the 2-lane rule? Then you tighten the screws 1 click. You don't become colder. You become clearer. That is the difference between men who repeat cycles and men who evolve. There's a shadow move many high-value men miss, replacing need with control. You don't beg anymore, but now you orchestrate every interaction so tightly that no one can breathe. That's not strength, that's fear in a suit. Loosen your grip where it's safe to do so. Invite her to choose you without forcing the path. Let her lead the second venue sometimes. Let her plan date 3. Let her surprise you with something small and receive it well. Detachment isn't about living untouched. It's about loving without losing your shape. The right woman meets structure with softness and initiative. The wrong one meets it with deflection and blame. Your job is not to convert her, it's to read the signs and move. If you do all of this, something beautiful and ruthless happens. The quality of your experiences rises while the quantity of your drama collapses. Your texts get simpler. Your dates get warmer. Your rejections get faster. The women who stay feel safer because they're not performing for a verdict. They're participating in a pace. And you feel lighter because you're not carrying 2 people's emotions. You've stopped treating yourself like an infinite resource. You've stopped proving your worth in rooms that refuse to see. Before we close, look in the mirror. What is the exact behavior you will no longer finance with your attention this month? When your chest tightens and your thumbs itch to text paragraphs, what 30-second regulation move will you run? Right then, no excuses, and if you had to remove one person's access to your nervous system tomorrow, who is it? And what quiet final message would you send? She didn't break you. She revealed what you were too afraid to protect.